Hello, this is George, and I'm going to show you how you can program a quick day trade algorithm in less than 10 minutes. The name of this algorithm is the lunch break day trade system. We're going to be testing it on the day session of the ES. We could do the ENQ.D, but we do need to use the day session, or we could use a stock. Basically, what you do at 1 o'clock Eastern time, you look to see what happened last. Was the high of the day made last or the low of the day? If the high of the day was made last, then you'll buy it on a breakout of the last 3 bars. I'm also going to include an indicator that will draw vertical lines at the 1300 time, which is the 1 o'clock time. And then we're going to have the window open for 2 hours. So I'm going to draw a yellow line at the 1500 hour. And if the low is made last, then you'll sell short, like down here. You'll come out at the end of the day, or you'll be stopped out on the lowest low of the last 3 bars if you're long, and these are 10-minute bars. If you're short, it's going to be the highest high of the last 3 10-minute bars. So let's jump into the code real quick. Let's call this the lunch break day trade system. Lunch break day trade. We're going to use the select template. We're going to use none. We're going to go ahead and start typing our code in as quick as I want to do this in less than 10 minutes. Now, did I do this originally in 10 minutes? No, it took me a little longer. But I want to show you that if you know what you're doing, you could program this in less than 10 minutes. So let's go ahead and see. And you can learn how to do this by, if you like, buy my books, or go to my blog and take a look at my website. What are we going to do here? We need to go ahead and we need to determine the first bar of the trading day. And since we're using the day session, we can look at the time. If time is less than the prior bar's time, so if it's the last bar is 4:15 and the current bar is 9:30 or 9:40, whatever, it's going to be less than. Okay. If it's the second bar of the day, it'll be the 9:40 bar versus the 9:30, or the 9:50 versus the 9:40. And it will not be less than. So this is how you can quickly determine if it's the first bar of the trading day. What do we need to do? We need to set up we need to default some variables. We need high time is equal, just to put 4, we're in military time, so if we just go ahead and use 4 9s, we'll be fine. I'm going to default these, and I'll show you why. High of day, we're going to do it the old-fashioned way. We're not going to use the built-in function, day, high D. We're going to do it by hand. Let's set that equal to 0. Low of day is equal to 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 6 9s, okay? And you're saying, don't you need to define these variables, George? We will. Sometimes I like to just, if I'm really into an idea, I like to program it. And then I like to go over and then go back and add the variable names to the var section. Okay, what do we need to do? If high of the current bar is greater than the high of day, which we set at the beginning of the day to 0, then begin. What I want to do is I want to set the time. High of high time is equal to time. I need to go ahead and set the high of day equal to the high, okay? Because we're keeping track of the high as it's being made on each 5-minute bar, or 10-minute bar in this case. Do the same for the other side. We're going to say if the low is less than low of day. And a lot of times what you can do, if it's symmetrical, which this system is, you just simply copy and paste your logic. You just need to invert it, okay? You got to be careful though. You got to make sure you change everything you need to change. See, low of day. Is low greater than low of day? No, you don't want that. You want low less than low of day. Here we're going to say low time is equal to time. And we're going to say low of day is equal to L, low. Okay, got to make sure you set everything properly. Okay, since we have that, we can now go into, let's go ahead and create our entry points. And I call it HPT, high point, you can call it whatever you want, is equal to the highest high. Since we're dealing with 10-minute bars, it's going to look at the 10-minute bars. Highest high of, and I'm going to use this as an input that you can change later if you like. We'll change channel length, LPT. Sorry about that beeping. Lowest. Low of chan length. Okay, now we got our buy point. Now we got to go ahead and put our directives in. If market position is equal to 0 and entries today, you got to put the date here, today, is equal to 0, and time equals start is greater than or equal, is greater than or equal to start. Here's another input, trade time, and time is less than end, another input you'll be able to change, trade time, and high time is greater than low time, meaning that the high was made last. The high time is greater than the low time. If that happens, then what we want to do is go ahead and hit then. We want to put a trade directive buy. What do we want to do? We want to do LB buy, give it a name. It's always good to give it a name. Next bar at HPT stop. HPT, no, not HPT. We want to go one tick above it. So what is that? At HPT plus min move divided by price scale. So that gives you the high point plus a min tick on a stop. Okay. Now let's do the opposite. What we're going to do now is we're going to take this, I'm going to flip it over for the short entry. Paste. If market position equals 0, that stays the same. Entries today, date equals 0. Time is greater than start trade time, and time is less than end trade time. And low time, I'm going to flip this around right here. See how everything is somewhat symmetrical? If low time is greater than high time, we're going to go sell short. We're going to go lunch break sell or short. Next bar at low point minus min move divide by price scale on a stop. Okay. Now what are we going to do? How do we get out? Well, we get out very simply if market position equals 1 and this is a little trickery here, and I don't have time to explain to you, but I only want to get out if I'm in a somewhat of a losing position. I'm going to let the market run as long as I'm not in a losing position. If I'm in a losing position, I'm going to use the highest high of the last 3 bars. I'm sorry, the lowest low of the last 3 bars if I'm long to get out. So I'm going to say close, and close is less than, I'm in a losing position, right? I'm long, and my close of the bar is less than my entry price, then I'm undoubtedly in a losing position. Then I'm going to sell long lick next bar at, in this case we're going to flip it over, we're going to say L point minus min move divided by price scale. 1 tick. Okay, so let's copy and paste that. Scroll this down just a little bit. You can't see my paste in my smaller window. Okay. If market position equals -1, close is greater than entry price, then I'm going to buy to cover short lick. I'm just using the 4 letters for short at a high point plus min move divided by price scale. And then I'm going to set exit on close, set exit on close. That's a function. Go back to the top. Let's go in here and put our inputs. And from memory, let's see what those are. I'm going to have, let's see here, what am I having? I'm going to have start trade time. I'm going to make that 1300. End trade time 1500. And I'm going to make channel length. I'll make that 3. Okay. And now I'm going to go my VARs. High time 0. Low time, high of day, I'm pushing the 10 minutes right now. Low of day. I spent a minute showing the system, so we actually have a minute to work with here. H point is going to be 0, and L point is going to be 0. Okay, I verified, and I made I have one error here. Let's go hit stop. You got to put it. You got, what is it? A stop, limit, market. What is it? So you got to put stop on both these. Yep. So you type quick. Build again. It worked. Okay, that's less than 10 minutes. I programmed that system in less than 10 minutes. Now let's see if it works. Now we can spend a little time playing around with it. Let's insert our newly minted trading system, day trade system. Insert strategies. What is that? Lunch break, day trade. There it is. Boom. 1300 is the time we want to start trade time. I can take a breakout of the last 3 10-minute bars after 1300 or at 1300. I don't want to take any new trades after 1500, and my channel length is 3. Close it. Hopefully it works. Should be buy-in right here. There it is. So here is the 1 o'clock time. We want to buy the highest high of the last 3 bars, which was this bar here, which was 13. What was that? High was 39.18, and we bought it 39.18, and you can't see that, and a quarter. Okay, so we had a winner, winner, winner here. Okay, this is your window. Let's look at a loser. Here's a small loser here. You can't see that. Let's find a better loser. Okay, here's a perfect example. At 1 o'clock, the market had made its made the high last, and it actually made a new high at right 1300. So we know what the bar we're going to buy and only buy. It's binary. We can only sell short, or we can only buy or go short if the low of the day is in the proper location versus the high of the day. So if the high of the day is made last, you buy. If the low of the day is made last, you sell short. Binary. Okay, so the market did not ever break out. Finally, late in the day, we had the breakout, and we were able to take this trade because the window was still open to take the trade. So we bought on a breakout of the last 3 bars. So we bought it, and then it kind of rallied a little bit, got into a very congested phase here. You could draw one line across at 6 or 7 bars, and then the market collapsed, and we sold to get out at the lowest low of the last 3 bars, which was this bar here. The low is 37.3650. We should be getting out at 37.36 quarter. So one at 37.3550. And that's not right. So when you program fast, sometimes you make errors. Let's go back to the code real quick and take a look at it. That's getting out. If market position equals 1, close. Next bar at L point minus min. It looks like the code is correct, and the close is less than entry price. Then it's LPT min move minus price scale on a stop. Let me examine that. You know, the system was right. I don't know. I was looking at the close. The low of this bar here is 37.3575. We should be getting out at 37.3550. 1 tick below the low. 37.3550. So it is doing exactly what we want it to do. What happens if the market doesn't go in the direction very quickly? It will get stopped out. Here's an example of a trade that got stopped out on the very next bar. The low of the day was made last, but look at the congestion here. It's a very congestive phase here in the market. The low was made last, so we're going to sell short on the breakout. Tiny bars. So undoubtedly there must have been a news event occurring on this day, and everybody was waiting for it, and finally it happened at what was that, 4:10? That would be 2 o'clock. So that could be a Fed meeting or something like that. So what happened was the people started jumping in on the, I guess what they thought was going to happen, and got you stopped out very quickly. That's the highest high of the last 3 bars. Is that the case? Highest high, 1384.40 quarter. Should be 1384. I'm sorry, 38.44 quarter. Should be getting out at 38.44.50, and we did. Okay, now I'm going to quickly explain to you how I did these lines here, these vertical lines. Drawing horizontal lines are very simple. You just plot the price. But the vertical lines, you have to use trend lines, or you used to have to use trend lines. That's the way I used to do it. But nowadays, you can use the the object-oriented EasyLanguage. So I'm going to go ahead and show you the indicator real quick, the code, and show you how easy that was to do once you learn how to do it. And incorporating the object-oriented EasyLanguage, you do have to do a couple of things before you can start using them. Let me show you that real quick. Here we go. And then we don't want to do the strategy. We want to look at the indicator. Here we go. Okay. What I want to do is I want 2 times to be plotted. I want the plot 1 time to be 1300, the plot 2 time to be 1500. If I'm going to use drawing objects, I need to incorporate those. I need to use those. I need to tell the compiler that I need to incorporate or import EL system drawing objects and EL system drawing. Okay, this system is similar to the strategy. I need to keep track of the high of the day time, low of the day time, high of day, and low of day. And then I've got this vertical line, VL, and we're going to set that equal to null. That's going to be an object. Okay, don't worry about it. You don't need to understand what an object is at this point in this code. But no, that's how you assign a vertical line, VL, to set it up. You got to initialize it as null. Null is empty. It's an empty set. There's nothing there. No address. Nothing. Okay, so I'm going to do the same thing. I kept the time comparison the same to determine if it's the first bar of the day. If t is less than the prior time, I'm going to say high of day is equal to 0, low of day is 6 nines. I'm going to keep track of the high of the day as it is occurring. I'm going to keep track of the low of the day as it's occurring. If t time is equal to plot time 1, okay, that's 1300, I'm going to go ahead and create my vertical line using this code here. Now, how in the world would you have known that? Well, you wouldn't know that. You have to do the research to figure that out. And on my blog, I do talk about some aspects of the object-oriented EasyLanguage, but Sonny Harris and Sam Tennis are coming out with the definitive guide, and it's going to be 2 volumes on the use of the object-oriented EasyLanguage, and it does make things a lot easier in some cases. Unfortunately, what it does, it separates the code from the code that can be utilized on my multi-charts as well as TradeStation. Multi-charts does not use the object-oriented EasyLanguage, so you got to keep that in mind if you're working with the 2 platforms. If you're just sticking with TradeStation, you'll be fine. So I'm going to create a vertical line, VL. Okay, it's going to be assigned a pointer or something, or an address with some information, and then I'm going to tell it to persist as false. I won't get into detail about what that means. Drawing object, I'm going to draw an object. I want to add a VL. Now it knows what a VL is because we tell it it's a vertical line here. So the drawing object is a function of some sort, and it says, okay, I'm gonna add something. I'm gonna add some form of drawing object. Is it an arrow? Is it a trend line? Is it a dot, or is it a vertical line? In this case, it's a vertical line. Now, if the high of the daytime is greater than low of daytime, that means we're going to buy. High of the day was made last, and we're going to set the color to green. If that's not the case, we're going to set it to red. And then if time is equal to plot to time, I'm going to create a vertical line, another one. In this case, I'm going to color it yellow. Okay, there's your code that does that. Okay, now the reason I did this is I wanted to show you how I do a very quick system with a video so that you may be interested in this type of learning process. And if you are, you got to check out my Easing into EasyLanguage books, the Foundation Edition. That's where I would start. The high-res edition, this type of strategy would fall into the high-res edition, but you'd want to build a good foundation first. So I would suggest go in order, buy the Foundation Edition, do the the high-res edition next, and then if you want to learn more about advanced topics, such as seasonality and all kinds of different things that from a programming perspective, they're not really that, well, they are somewhat advanced because I do hash tables and I do array manipulations and things like that. So if you want to get a well-rounded EasyLanguage education, check out all 3 books, okay? And I appreciate your time, and I hope you enjoyed the video. Thank you.